Tyler, how are we doing today, sir?
I'm a little tired, but you know, it's been a long weekend.
It's been busy. Holiday season. I had to go shopping today and get some stuff for Thanksgiving.
How was that?
And dude,
They got stuff?
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Now, they're missing out on some stuff. Like, for instance, you can't get Jimmy Dean sausage, those little chubs. Can't get those anywhere. You know those little 1 pound chubs in
What
the
are you
lunch
going to
meat?
use for that?
Huh? I bought the store brand package meat, the sausage ground up in the pound trays.
No, I just mean, like, what do you use that for in your Thanksgiving?
Oh, and stuffing.
Oh, okay. You
Stuffing.
mix it in the stuff? That sounds
Yeah, dude. But I'm just like walking around, and I went down the cereal aisle, the breakfast aisle, and I'm just looking at the cereals just to give a glance. I don't eat cereal. I used to.
No?
I used to. It's bad. It's bad.
What was
habit.
your go-to cereal?
When I was a kid, or when I was a little, or previously.
Did you ever eat a specific cereal, like, religiously all the time? Like, that was your, like, jam?
No, well, I had trends. So, like, I was on Captain Crunch for a while. Then I was on, Fruity Pebbles. That was a thing. Yeah. Then, Tricks. And then, I went on, like, trends. It wasn't like, for 10 plus years, I just had this one cereal.
I'm kind of like that. It's a boring cereal, but I like it.
Oh, man. Raisin Bran?
No, that is boring.
Oh, okay.
Frosted Mini Wheats.
Frosted?
Give me them Frosted Mini Wheats.
Okay, I can,
I love that.
It's a little,
you go boom boom.
You want to talk, man, you want to talk about eating shards of glass. That's what I kind of feel like with shredded wheat. Like, I'm just saying.
But it's got sugar on it.
But, like, I was just like, and I like, we reminisce, whatever. But I'm looking at all the cereals, and it's like 1,000 different flavors. I don't know what happened, but like there was maybe like 10 different kinds of cereals, maybe
like
a
brands?
little. Well, not so much brands, but just like the Frosted Flakes, Fruity Pebbles, right. Now they have it to where like, okay, it's not just Frosted Flakes. You have 5 other flavors for the Frosted Flakes. Fruity Pebbles.
I got it. Okay.
It's crazy.
I've seen that with the mini wheats. There's strawberry, there's blueberry, there's the maple and brown sugar is pretty good.
Well, listen, I'm not gonna touch it, so it's all for you, bud. You'll have endless amounts of Frosted Mini Wheats, but I'm
put you on the cover of them Frosted Mini Wheats,
dude.
too.
I'm even seeing ice cream flavors of cereal.
Really?
Yes, they have.
I've seen it of candy, but not of cereal.
Yeah, they have. It's crazy because to me, it's like then you might as well just eat ice cream.
No. But low key, put cereal in your ice cream. I know that sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. No, it's good, man. I mean, plain ass Cheerios, and you're like, this is boring, and then throw it on some ice cream. It's like a waffle cone infusion. So this cereal ice cream might be good.
Frosted Flakes with vanilla ice cream is pretty solid, people. Or you can
chew that up and spit it in your mouth.
Or yes, please. And but yeah, I just like I said. They have candy cereal, ice cream cereal, coffee flavored cereal. I mean, it just goes on and on. Like, I kind of feel like cereal's kind of like chips now. How they have like 80,000 flavors. Cuban sandwich or whatever the hell.
Getting in the game, man. You got to stay relevant and keep it fresh.
But then you might as well just fucking eat that. Why are you gonna eat that in a cereal form? Like, if I want a Cuban sandwich, I'm not gonna be like, oh man, I'm gonna get a stack of Pringles. That's Cuban sandwich flavor.
That could be good. I love me some Cuban.
But then eat the fucking sandwich. Why are you gonna get Pringles?
I'm gonna eat the sandwich with Cuban sandwich chips and a pickle. You gonna eat your pickle?
This is gonna be too much, man. I do.
I'm that guy. Oh, damn
I do.
It. All right.
I do.
I'm that guy. I'm just. Like,
I do. But like, if I had a burger and fries at a restaurant and they had the pickle on the side, you want to grab that shit, dude?
Yes.
You go for it, bro. Oh, yeah. But I just feel like
a burger, a little bit of fry.
Yeah.
Bite of pickle.
The only time I'm eating a pickle on a sandwich is on a Cuban, because it just makes sense. Like, it goes with it. Eating a Cuban without a pickle, I feel is criminal. I'm just saying. It's just criminal.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. So, there is something that's a little bit bothering me. That's that came up. I'm a big NFL guy. So are you. John Gruden is suing the NFL for how they handle. Yeah, suing back. So just for the people out there who may not be into it, I'll just give
me a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give the dumb story because look.
Give me the dumb story.
I'm giving you the brief story because look, I'm not sitting at home for 10, 15 hours a day. Try to follow. What's going. I just don't have that kind of time. NFL doesn't pay me. I don't have that kind of time. Okay, but short story is this. The NFL was investigating the Redskins. I'm still calling them the Redskins. I don't give a fuck what name they are. That's what they are to me.
Okay.
Redskins. Anyway.
All right, white boy.
They were, because apparently the cheerleaders at that time, they were getting they were doing like a photo shoot for a calendar.
Okay.
But there was cameras, and they caught them being they caught him, naked or undressing in the locker room, and then, then the owner was in on it, or something along those realms. So the NFL was investigating and going through their emails and stuff. Well, during these emails, they saw John Gruden's emails where he made comments about the commissioner and the head.
Friends with the
head
coach of Washington,
or he was talking to the former GM and I think maybe the owner or whatever.
Okay.
But he just, and at that time he was not working in the NFL. Gruden, he was not working in the NFL. He was doing the Monday Night Football. He was the announcer.
Is it ESPN? What?
Yeah. He was just ESPN calling the Monday night games.
Okay.
So he wasn't even part of NFL at all at that time. So when they're going through that, he's just making comments about the commissioner and the guy who runs the NFL Players Association. And, there was some, you can say racist comments or...
this kind of thing I did hear.
Right.
This part I heard.
Yeah.
You calling Roger Goodell a pussy.
Yeah.
And saying that the leader of the Players Association has lips like the Michelin Man.
Yes.
He's painting a picture here, dude.
Yes.
You ever seen them old Looney Tunes where they're all like, whoa? Yeah. It's not a... I mean, we know what he's getting at.
Well, he was mostly
I know what he's getting at.
Right.
I mean, it's just...
He was mostly calling Roger Goodell pussy, pretty much. In another word. But... No, Michael Sam.
Oh, that part.
This was yeah. So I'm sorry, because this was back in 2011.
I remember that. Yeah, he got drafted.
But just the whole speculation of how big it was, and that the Rams drafted him and made a big deal about it. Gruden's whole point was, if we it shouldn't matter whatever your sexuality is. We don't need to make it a big thing because there's been plenty of gay players in the NFL. It's not a big deal.
Have there been?
Apparently so. They just haven't came out. Now is the thing to come out.
But that's, to me, that's kind of the point. He said, aside from, we called the commissioner pussy, the comments that he made about the leader of the Players Association. And then things kind of along the lines of saying that, excuse my language, but queers don't belong in the locker room.
Oh, he did say that.
Okay.
Or he did?
That's what I was hearing on the radio when they were talking about. That's the little bits that I had heard.
Yeah,
and I was just
I didn't sit there and read every single email transaction. I'm not working for Google Mail. I don't know.
Right, I know. But when I hear people, that may have a bit of prejudice against, Muslims or people of Islamic faith, and they start, making comments and things like that, I just want to pull them aside and be like, hey, repeat that sentence, but instead of saying Muslim, say Jew. And tell me if you don't sound like a Nazi right now.
Right.
So in the same respect, I'm kind of like, yeah.
And listen, I'm not defending what he said. I'm not saying I agree with what he said or I understand it. Here's kind of my problem, though. Those emails, though, were 10 years ago. Okay? 10 years ago. It wasn't like he printed,
Because Michael Sam was drafted 2011.
Right. This email.
Timeline
now. This email transaction was 10 years ago.
Okay.
So, and we're firing him in 2021, but he wasn't an employee of the Raiders. He was an employee of the NFL. So it would kind of be like your current job, firing you because, 10 years ago you were talking smack about, whatever.
That company or...
Right, or whatever.
Or
whatever scenario. And listen, I would feel like, yeah, you should get fired if he did it last week, last month, because it's a different time. Back 10 years ago, it's a different time. We could talk, differently than we do now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like, that was right off the bat my first issue with that.
Okay.
So, fast forward, so all that came out, and the Raiders fired him. He got paid the rest of his contract, whatever. Well, now he's coming back to sue him, and one of his biggest problems, that at least that I heard, and like I said, I'm glancing over it because I'm not getting full details. So, obviously, I'm not going to get, all the facts out, but there'll be facts nonetheless. His biggest problem is, look, okay, you released the emails, whatever, but you only released my part. You didn't release, because when they were going through the emails,
the responses from...
Right, they didn't go through responses. They didn't even release other emails from other people.
Agreed with them.
Huh?
Considering their bodies.
Maybe, but his thing was...
If he feels comfortable enough to say shit like that to him, I gotta wonder about that guy,
right,
too.
we don't know. So he's like, he felt that they're picking and choosing, kind of setting him up to get rid of him. For whatever reason, maybe because of those comments or something else. But to me, it's just kind of funny how not just, society as a whole, how we pick and choose whose emails or, a detriment or who's not. Like people made a big deal over this John Gruden email scandal. But yeah, when other people's emails get linked out and released, like Dr. Fauci, just saying, people forget about that. We're just like, hey, it's all good. So, like I said, I'm not saying what he said was right at all.
Do you think he should have gotten fired? I kind of do. I kind of feel like that's fine.
I would maybe feel that way if he was on the team or even in the league.
At the time.
But he wasn't. So...
The only issue I take with that is... Who's to say that those thoughts don't still inhabit him? And I get it. I can't read his mind,
right,
kind of thing. But it's like, you were that comfortable. Even working for ESPN, it's kind of like... and then he says these things, then ends up coaching Vegas again. Well, the Raiders again, now in Vegas, I should say. And I brought him up earlier. You have Carl Nassib as a defensive end. You think that guy's going to run through a brick wall for you after? It's kind of like, this might be how my coach feels, and like, I don't belong in the locker room. Maybe he probably thinks I'm a pussy just because of my sexual orientation. And I do agree with you of the fact that it shouldn't matter. So does Carl Nassib.
Right.
His whole coming out video was short, sweet, to the point. Just saying, what's up? My name's Carl Nassib, playing for the Raiders. Just want to take a moment, say that I'm gay. Shouldn't be a thing, but hopefully it makes it more comfortable for people to be all right with it. Because I know we like to say that it's not going to, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I do see a lot of conservative viewpoints of like, what should that matter? Who he has sex with. I don't get, celebrated because I have sex with women. All right, well, you also have never been tied to the back of a truck by your nuts and dragged down a gravelly road and beaten to death because you like a girl. And to just go ahead and say that, it would have come out anyway. What if it did? What if he's hanging out with the team, he's still in the closet. Hanging out with the team, they go out to a club, some girl starts hitting on him kind of thing, and he keeps shutting people up. They're like, what's up, Carl, kind of thing. And then one day they see him out with maybe he has a boyfriend that he doesn't want people to know about because he's afraid of the reaction. If it didn't matter and he was out and open with it and they just see him holding hands with a guy and kissing him in the coffee shop because that's his boyfriend or husband, everyone's going to be like, whoa, did you see? Did you see? Did you see? And that's why they have to come out front first. Because even though, as a society, we all say it doesn't matter in the sense that, like, oh, it's not okay. But people are still interested in that. And to them would just be like, oh, like, it's a shot. Like, we'll still be accepting of it. Like, I mean, it becomes a spectacle on its own. So them coming out to do it in advance, I think, is a good move, and the way that he put it, I feel, was really good as well. And I feel it would be difficult if I were in his shoes, or I'd maybe want to sit down with John and have a conversation if I was Carl Nassib.
I mean, look, I just think that we're starting to trend in the situation too, where things that we have emailed, texted, whatever, posted 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, that you're getting punished now, right, so like what if like your current employer found messages on that you posted on MySpace, and then they fired you over
that
it.
Would be an interesting read. That would be the cringiest
right.
read
So
of my life,
we've
I'm
all
sure.
said, even privately, we've all said crazy stuff. And I'm not saying like John Gruden's a great guy or anything like that. I'm not even really defending the emails. But when you really look at it, how they only, on the emails, they only released just what he said. So they're protecting the receivers, the person either receiving that email or sending him a response to anything that he says. So they're picking and choosing. He wasn't in the league. From how like the players might feel, especially Carl Nassib, it kind of makes sense now. Okay, maybe you do fire him from the team, but to ban him from the NFL, to even the Bucks took him out of their Hall of Fame shrine.
The Super Bowl one.
Right, and it's like, I mean, now it's full on. He's canceled, blackball, done, and I'm like, I kind of see why he would want to attack the NFL again, and
so he's suing for defamation, basically.
Suing him for defamation, and probably a couple other things, but that's really his main issue. So we'll see how that goes. I think the NFL is going to settle because that's what they usually do. They'll settle. He'll get paid, and we'll just stop talking about it. But stuff like this. This is why I'm finding myself less and less like sitting and watching football, the NFL. Like I'm really, yes, I keep up with the scores and maybe like what players are doing and stuff like that, but I just feel, especially these last couple years, it's really hard for me like to just sit down, and because I used to sit down Sundays, watch games, multiple games. It wasn't just Patriots playing. I'll watch a 4:00 game and the 8:00 game. Like I'm watching teams. I don't care. I just want to watch football. But nowadays, I'm just really watching less and less of it. And when you have situations like the email thing, or even if they're now they have politics involved in football and all that stuff. I really just don't find myself watching the games. Like if I have something else to do, I'll go watch that. So let me ask you.
With the politics, I mean, for me, like, I'm not gonna sit here and I think it's Laura Ingraham to say shut up and dribble kind of thing. Like if you were a person that has a bit of fame and pull and have been successful, I mean, you still have every right to kind of express.
Oh, it's
it's
not on the players.
Of anything, really.
Yeah, I'm not putting it on the players. I'm putting it on the organization, not the players.
Okay.
I'm not on the players. It's just the organization itself and how it handles itself, especially these last couple years. It's harder to me to sit there and watch their product, pretty much, even though their product is good. Mm-hmm. But so I haven't asked you this even off camera, so I'm interested because you are a big hockey fan. So, And you really don't hear anything about the NHL. You know, we hear stuff about NFL, NBA. You know, there's even, you know, and any sport, but the NHL does a really great job of kind of staying out the spotlight.
Keep your stick on the ice, baby.
So,
not on Twitter, on the ice.
Could you see, or could you even imagine or think of any situation that would make you kind of look away from the NHL, like not be into it, not like watch as many games, anything at all to, you know?
Okay, yeah, it's not a problem in the NHL. Hopefully, I don't have to say yet. I'll say yet because my faith is kind of wavering on these guys, professional athletes, I should say, primarily with the domestic abuse policies. Now, the NHL doesn't have one, which seems a little concerning, right? They don't even have a policy on it, like nothing like that, considering, you know, issues that have gone on in sports concerning that topic. There isn't, because there's only been really 2 instances of it. And he's a piece of shit for anybody that knows him, played for the LA Kings, was Slava Voinov. He punched his punched his wife in the jaw, choked her, slammed her into a TV, and then shoved her over, which caused her to get a gash on her head that needed 8 stitches. This is October 2014. Pled no contest and was suspended indefinitely. Hasn't played since the 14-15 season. They ain't touching him. The Kings terminated the $25 million contract with him. You're done. You're out of here. Bye. What's starting to concern me is what happened this summer. Now, mind you, it's still a case, less of a degree of the first one, but was Austin Watson of the Nashville Predators. It says and I don't even know I don't know if it means a slap or a backhand, I don't know what it means, swatted his girlfriend outside of a gas station in Tennessee. Also pled no contest. The NHL suspended him for the preseason in the first 27 games. Now, they can appeal this to the Players Association of the NHL, and he could be eligible to return to play December 3rd. But as far back as I can look for, you know, any kind of like thing that's popping up in my head about, you know, a hockey player doing something like that, which would explain why they don't have a policy.
Yeah.
Now, the NFL does have a policy, at least because it seems to be a huge problem there.
Right.
And was really enacted and became more strict after the Ray Rice incident, which, you know, slugging his wife in the elevator, and then people, you know how she gets. It's like,
we all saw that.
Right, and we have to come out with a whole ad campaign now, where you have current and past players, you know, black screen behind them, and it's just them, and they're like, you know, like, don't hit your wife. Why do we have to explain that?
Right.
To grown men?
I agree.
That should be good to go by like 7, 8 years old.
Right.
Good to go. And we're still having this problem, but the NFL does have a policy. It is a 2-strike policy. So first offense, you're banned for 6 games. Second offense, you're out. And I'm sure they have, you know, little addendums and clauses, and lawyers speak for, you know, the severity of the case and, you know, the publicity that it got and so on and so forth. But if that started to just become rampant in the NHL and they don't enact a policy, I'll say they don't enact a policy quick enough. If there's a serious situation that happens, then yeah, you kind of turned me off, dude. Like, you guys, you're hitting each other. Is that the only way you can solve the problem now? Is just,
yeah.
You come home and punch it in the mouth. Like, come on, dude.
I do not condone domestic violence at all. I will say it's very.
I condone same-sex violence.
Yeah.
Girls want to fight each other? Have at it. Guys want to fight each other? Slug it out.
I'm very interested because so you're only saying that there's only 2 incidents recently that the NHL has had for domestic violence, right?
Recently. And as far back as I can kind of remember, there may be more. But nothing that's gotten the publicity.
I'm
that
very
the NFL has.
curious why the NHL and the NFL has such a huge domestic violence disparity. You know what I mean?
Probably because the majority of American players are playing in NFL, and you got Canadians and Europeans. Majority in the NHL. It's a different world, man.
Yeah,
it's a different world.
It would just be an interesting kind of thing to see maybe why that.
Oh, I should look up whether what's it, Slava Voltnov or whatever I said his name was. That piece of
but
shit. He's European. I don't know if.
But
the other guy might be Canadian, and I eat my words.
But it's sad to me that 2021, right? That's the year we're in, 2021, right?
Currently.
I just feel like time's every day is the same day for me.
Every day's a winding road, bro.
It never ends. But it's just sad. It's just sad that 2021 we're still having domestic violence issues, especially for.
We still have to talk about it. It's weird. And it's sad to kind of think that all of us, actually, you, me, if you're watching, we have probably all either worked with or been friends with and never knew that they were either the aggressor or victim of domestic abuse.
Yeah.
On any scale.
Well, listen, we all witnessed actually the former running back for the Rams, Zach Stacey.
I couldn't watch it.
Zach Stacey?
I couldn't watch it.
That's his name, right? Zach Stacey.
Yes.
If you guys want to look him up, there's a TMZ video, which I saw it, and I know you haven't seen it, so my
hands started shaking like I was about to eat another hot chip. And, my heart was pumping like I was. Yeah,
I saw it. I saw it. TMZ released it. It was in their house. They have a home surveillance camera. Mm-hmm. Anytime you have cameras in your house, that's never good. Because it's just never good.
Well, I never watched the video, but from the story, this isn't the first time.
Oh, of course not.
And so I kind of feel like she probably just set it up, like she knows it's going to happen again.
Because it was it was at her house.
Smart about it,
right? It was at her house. So pretty much, I don't even care what the argument was over. It was his ex.
It's sickening. You have to go that far to be like, I know it's going to happen again. So let me.
Exactly, but I don't even care what the argument was when this was taped. But you guys can just look it up. On YouTube or even TMZ because they were the ones that released it. Pretty much, they're arguing whatever. He slaps her or open hands or whatever, and then he just picks her up and flings her across the room into the TV. She hits the floor. TV falls on top of her.
Jeez.
And he's just still he just is not processing it. He's still just arguing, yelling, whatever. And I don't even know what it was about. But it doesn't even fucking matter.
No.
Because especially it's right there is the 5-month-old child. Yeah, this whole thing is just ridiculous.
You gotta wonder if they'll retain that sort of in the ether of their infancy. Like, I know you're not gonna make memories until you're 2 or 2.5 or whatever, but those kinds of repressed memories that you can't just recall because I don't know if repressed is the right word or even just before that, you have no recall memory.
Yeah.
Because they're that young, they're not really repressing it because they don't understand it. But I feel like that, who knows, that may have some effect on the child in future years. Just they don't know why they have this kind of thing, but they saw it.
It's. I'm glad he got arrested. They did fine him obviously and arrested him.
Okay.
And he's gonna get charged and everything. And she wants more charges on him.
I'm sure there's other occurrences.
It's just It's never okay to hit a woman. I mean, unless if your life's in jeopardy. I mean, you know.
I get that. Like, if she's coming at you with a giant knife and you got to pop her one, or
unless if he's so hyped up with testosterone that you're just like you're not focusing.
So many concussions.
It's just like how quick for him to do that. And then, even when the TV hit, he just just nothing phases him, and he just keeps going.
Yeah, that's right.
He just keeps going. So yeah, I mean, just imagine like if the kid got hurt in that situation. Like,
he didn't.
I mean, yeah, because he was sitting on the couch, but I'm speechless, and that's one of the few things that really pisses me off.
It's concerning that it's still happening, even though the narratives change.
Right.
Like in social view. You know, for instance, if you think about like the 40s and 50s and that kind of time, even, you know, the 60s, you know, popular TV show back then, The Honeymooners, you had the funniest joke in that entire show was that Jackie Gleason would threaten his wife.
Yeah.
One of these days, Alice, one of these days, he was going to punch her so hard that she was going to go to the moon. And that's just it knocked them dead at home. They're like, oh man, that's like Saturday night, isn't it, sweetheart? She's like in the kitchen, just like, I hope this stays warm, otherwise it's gonna happen again. Like, it was a real thing, kind of thing. And we all laughed it off and shrugged it off. We get that it's not okay. You shouldn't make light of it, sort of thing. And it's still happening. So I don't know if it's because, you know, been knocked around too many times. I mean, you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter what started this.
Yeah.
And you want to blame it on a condition to go psycho on somebody that's going to be defenseless?
Right.
You're an animal.
And like I said, not too many things pisses me off, and I do agree that I think she put up the camera herself because this wasn't the first time. Because right. I would think if he was on camera, that he wouldn't, you know, he made. But I don't know. But it was at her house.
He might not have given a shit.
But now he's in jail and he'll have a little court date. So
he's awaiting trial.
I'm assuming. Yeah, I don't. You know.
Speaking of trials, it was hard to miss. It was a long weekend. The Rittenhouse trial came to a close, and the jury found him not guilty on all of his charges for what happened last year.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You done with that?
I'm glad that he did not get charged for any of it because he didn't break any laws, whether you agree with it or not, and he acted in self-defense. I feel you. You have a different feeling.
Can you feel me right now?
I'm feeling you.
Oh, so it just got really warm in here.
Let me have it. Let me have it. All right.
I get why he got off. Because of the laws. Okay? You know, there was a lot of look this way, look that way, even though it didn't really matter to the case at hand for what the charges were. You know, the whole crossing state lines. I get he, you know, got this rifle from his friend Dominic Black, who purchased it for him. He didn't buy the rifle or cross state lines, mind you, where he lived in Antioch, Illinois, excuse me. To get to Kenosha was like 21.25 miles. It's not like he did a cross-country trip. I get that whole kind of thing. And it doesn't matter the whole, because he didn't cross state lines with the gun. Is it legal for him to carry that weapon?
In Wisconsin, yes. Now,
open carry?
Yes. It has to be open carry. If it was... it's a weird thing that I read that apparently if it's concealed, you can't... But you can have an open carry. Actually, the youngest is 12 in Wisconsin. So that's yes. Whoa. Yeah. So there's some...
That seems reasonable.
I think it does too.
Now, what could go wrong?
But let me just remind you that the reason why he even went over there is because there was rioting happening during that time.
Right.
And
why would you want to go there?
He for whatever motive, he claimed that he was just there to help defend property, but they were defending their businesses because the police were not wanting to get involved because they were told to stand down by their governor, mayor, I don't know, whoever. But
so the police weren't doing their job.
Exactly.
So why not defund them?
Why not defund them?
There, yes. Tell you what, if it's my taxpayer money and your taxpayer money and all of us pooling in, and they don't want to do their job, I'm going to pull funding on you guys.
I don't go far
that
as
department.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, fuck you.
I
then.
don't go far as
let the whole
defunding.
town burn down. Okay.
But that's because of the governor and/or mayor is telling the police to stand down. They're just following orders. They're not. So I'm not. So it's really on that governor or mayor. Why are you letting rioting happen? So this, whether you agree with it or not, so far he didn't break any rules. He can travel wherever the hell he wants. Okay. He didn't buy a gun.
Right.
He was given a gun, but it's totally legal in Wisconsin, and he was just defending. He didn't go there and wanted to purposely shoot down people, kill people. He was just there to help defend property. Whether you agree with it or not, that's what he went to do. And last time I checked, that's not a crime. You can go wherever you want.
Right, you can go wherever you want, and that's where I'm getting at, where, I get why he got off because of these what the law is, and the way that it was explained, his charges, and with that evidence, I get why those charges didn't stick. But let's think, the problem that I have with it, and what I feel like most people have with it, why they wanted him to go down, why I kind of wanted to see some sort of repercussion on his part.
For what?
For what?
Yeah.
Okay.
For what?
He says he's going to come. I'm here to render first aid. Now, my dad lives in Kenosha. Well, Dad wasn't in the courtroom either, and I didn't really hear much about Dad, most of his testimony, other than the fact that his dad lived there. I get it. Okay. I work in Kenosha, kind of thing. So he's involved in that community. They're there to clean up graffiti after a night of rioting and protesting, and shit goes wild. And there's a bunch of graffiti on the high school. So in the daytime, he's out there cleaning the graffiti. Okay. I got no problem with that. You want to kind of clean up the town a little bit, in that fashion.
What's that got to do with the case, bro?
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I don't
guess what? The car lot with the burned out cars from the day before.
Yeah.
The owners apparently approach him and ask if, they wouldn't mind watching. To be a grown man and walk up to a bunch of 17, maybe 18-year-olds and be like, would you like to defend my property? And these kids are jumping at the chance. Now, you might be hot as shit at Call of Duty, but it didn't cut it here. He's a scared motherfucker. He got scared when everybody was around him. You get separated from that group. They want to start walking around town when they keep asking him, why are you walking around town? So you're cleaning the graffiti. Relied on that first aid defense. I'm going to open carry, but my job here was to provide first aid.
Okay.
That's my best Kyle Rittenhouse.
And so far, he has done nothing wrong or against the law. No, so it
it's a bit.
Just because you don't like it doesn't mean he can't be there.
I'm not saying he can't be there. I'm just saying you got to see how other people are going to react to it. You want to open carry like that? It's a bit intimidating.
Okay. Well, then don't be in Wisconsin then.
With a big angry mob mentality, you don't think they might come after you? You're kind of looking for that to happen. He gave his buddy what he got because he was in training for firefighting and EMT, and he probably did something with the police department there because he was issued from some course that he took there, a bulletproof vest. And he gave that to his friend. Gave him a bulletproof vest. Now, why would you give a kid an unloaded weapon and be like, great for passing your training, here, have this as a commemorative thing. And it's real. It's not like, I guess the idea is sweet. I'm going to put it up as a prop for my time doing this or whatever. But guess what? Here's a situation. And in a 17-year-old's mind. Do you remember being 17? I was stupid as shit, man.
But I barely remember what I did yesterday, let alone 17. But here's a problem that I'm having with it. You're bringing in outside stuff into this involvement. It doesn't matter.
He's the outside stuff.
It doesn't matter. you just have to look at it. Was this? Did he have the intent to kill somebody that day? No.
He had the means, which means he knew it was a possibility.
You can defend whatever you want. You can, but you're on defense.
To intimidate.
But you're on defense. You're not out attacking, are you? No. And he was being attacked.
Walking around the
doesn't matter.
Protesters.
It's legal.
Medical. Everyone's just standing around like, the fuck's this kid want?
He was getting. He had the mob was coming to attack him. One bashed him over the head with a scalpel.
Because they're walking down the street with guns.
But you're allowed to do that over there.
Sure you are, but you don't think they're going to react to that? If
so
you go to a Bucks game, the Bucks game tonight with the Giants. If I walked in there with the New York Giants jersey on, you don't think like a big crowd of Bucks fans would be like, "Hey, look at this piece of shit! Fuck the Giants, boo!"
Okay.
Okay, yeah. And that's a mild case of it. This one is on steroids. That's that situation on steroids. You don't think they're gonna go after him? That's all I'm saying.
But why are you running towards a guy with a gun in the first place? Why are you attack? If you have no gun. Why are you running up? So if someone breaks into your business and they have a gun, you're just gonna charge him? You're just gonna run after him? No.
Because I'm insured.
But why was he there?
Wouldn't a responsible business owner be insured?
He was there. Listen, he was there defending property. Whether you agree with it or not, you're allowed to do that.
Yay.
But people were rioting and burning places down. Okay? And guess what? They went and attacked it. And we have video of it where he was getting attacked. Okay? Doesn't matter. He was just defending. He wasn't the attacker.
I saw it.
He got bashed in the head with a skateboard.
I saw it.
One did have a gun on him.
Yeah, he pointed the weapon
at
him.
And in defense, he shot them. In defense, he didn't go and was
fired a few rounds into that crowd. He's lucky he didn't hit no one else with a straight bullet.
But he wasn't behind and like, I'm going to start attacking. It was in defense. That's what you have to think about. I don't give a fuck. Why is he over there? But he's allowed to be there.
I can tell you why he was over there.
But that doesn't matter.
He is
allowed to be over there. There's nothing against the law that says that.
He even said that he was going when they were going down doing the first aid. Now, they asked him who he provided first aid to, because that was his claim for being there, was to protect property, provide first aid. So when they left the property, first of all, they had him out in the front of car stores too. Yeah. You put the 17-year-old kid out front of your business, you're a fucking idiot. And so is he. Then they decided to go down Sheridan Road and start going medical, whatever. And they asked him, who did you provide medical assistance to? There was a lady that sprained her ankle, so I wrapped it. And I looked at a guy's shoulder. I watched his cross-examination, so I am quoting. I looked at a guy's shoulder. Sound like Marty right now, don't I? Captain Napkin.
And listen, and again,
looked at his shoulder, and then he provides first aid for his friend that was with him, who was also carrying. Because somebody throws a chemical bomb at them to be like, get the fuck out of here. So those are the people he provided medical first aid to. None of the people out there needed first aid. So his claim to be like, I was here to provide first aid to the protesters and stuff. No, you were not.
Okay.
No, you were not.
But again, what is that? That has nothing to do with the charges that he was being charged for. I don't, you're going to throw him in jail because of some.
The charge. No,
I'm just
that's
what it's about.
Why this has happened and why people are still pissed about it, and why they were hoping that something would stick.
That's not why.
That's
not why people are pissed off about it.
Well, that's why I'm pissed off about it. None of it makes sense. Dude shouldn't have been there. I feel like everybody can agree on that one. Dude shouldn't have been there. He's joining people. He gets separated from his friend. So he goes and he finds a gas station. The Ultimate Gas Station is called, where there's people protecting that business. So he figures this is a safe haven kind of thing because I'm not with my group anymore. They got separated. And then he kind of realizes where he is, and then he can get back to Car Source 2 to get back to Dominic and Nick Farch, whatever. Let's call him Nick the Dick.
Yeah.
He wants to get back to them. And he goes by, and the police kind of tell him, don't go down there. Says he didn't disobey police. The police stopped me. Well, no, they didn't stop me. White kid with a gun, open carrying. They told me not to go down there. He says they won't let him back. So then he joins the people at the gas station. Then he gets a call from Dominic that says shit's going down on that. The place they told him not to go back to was what the original business they were protecting. His friend got back there, calls him, says it's getting real over here. And he just gets into the phone booth and here we go down the road. Here I come. So he does disobey the police order. So he's lying already on the stand. You're going back on what you just said. So you go down there and that's when this happens. That's when the people see him. He's running down the road with a gun because action's happening this way. Then they attack him.
Okay.
And then after that attack, now I get it. With the dude pointed a gun at him, he got hit in the head with a skateboard. Dude got scared. Shit got real. And he had the means to defend himself, which is what these charges against him were. But the video does show that he was running away. I get that. He got hit. He got assaulted. The gun was pointed at him. Oh. The guy even testified that he didn't shoot until
so you're finally seeing it my way.
I'm so happy. I'm just saying I watched it. I'm just saying I watched it.
All this other stuff is literally it's meaningless because it doesn't.
Well, it does set the stage for why. We have to ask why.
That's fine. That doesn't mean whether you think it's right or not. Why he was there. It's not breaking any laws, and he's not pointing the gun, running around trying to hunt people like he's in Afghanistan. So let's just cut the bull. Listen, he could be lying. That's great. Good, whatever. I don't give a fuck why he was there. But you're gonna say that, he was there hunting people down and shit. Will we even have video evidence of it? Come on, bro. Come on. And it's legal to have a gun, open carry over there, whether you agree with it or not. That's a law that the people voted on. So you can throw in all this other stuff like, if he's medical, why does he have a gun and no one was hurt? The basics of why he was there in the first place was that the police was not doing their job and he wanted to help protect businesses over there because I guess his dad had a business there or whatever. And he killed 2 and injured the 3rd out of self-defense. And that's what it boils down to. It's not like what Joe Biden says, he's a white supremacist. When he's white,
not saying that,
he's white and he shot white people. How does that doesn't...
I'm not saying that at all. If the white supremacy thing was that hard, then Derek Chauvin would have gotten off.
Yeah, so you can fill it in with all that backstory of graffitis.
I'm not going there. But that was all part of their case to build a case. And
it's a pretty simple case to be honest. Like but the problem that
you're right. He shouldn't have been there. He should have stayed home. But he wanted to be Big Billy Badass and then got fucking chicken shit when it got real.
Listen, but regardless, it's still not a crime, and he only hurt people in self-defense. He didn't go there with the mindset, I'm going to shoot everybody here. Then, guess what? Yeah, throw the book at him. But then, and then if he had the intent to do that, and there was no evidence of that, whether you buy his story or not, there was still no evidence of him wanting to hurt people, he should not have been charged. So for anybody that says, justice wasn't served, I think it was. Because if he did get arrested, he would have been wrongfully arrested. And not only that, but we were trying to intimidate the jurors to get him, to find him guilty.
How so?
MSNBC was
sequestered. They don't get to watch that shit.
Actually, no, they were not sequestered. They're not
supposed to watch news and any of that shit, social media.
They weren't. I think they were allowed to. The judge had very loose restrictions on it.
Fucking kidding.
They were not sequestered at all. But the only thing the judge did was kept them private because, especially MSNBC, got caught trying to have them on tape or have pictures of them to identify them in case if they did find him not guilty.
I didn't know that.
So that is unfair for justice system where we're trying, and they're peers of Wisconsin over there, but we're trying to threaten them to get a ruling that we like. We're going back in time. Doesn't matter whether you think, maybe he shouldn't have a gun. The only charge that he could have got was crossing state line if he had a weapon. But he didn't. He obtained the weapon when he was over there. Whether you agree with why you're over there or not, I mean, listen, I'm not going to defend my favorite.
He called his boy up, be like, bro, make sure I got something to be strapped, man.
And listen,
so cool.
and that's fine.
And they fucking took a cool picture together before they did it.
Nothing
illegal. But
illegal.
Like you said, bringing out outside shit into it, the conservative point of view has done that plenty. You want to talk about everybody's like, God-fearing American on that side, and it's God above all. But then when it comes to a case like this, we need to look at the laws. Man's laws. Thou shalt not kill. Does that mean anything to you? Only in self-defense. Jesus did not say that. He said, he who lives by the sword will die by it. I'll put that out there at least. But even the other viewpoints of, Rosenbaum was a convicted child rapist or molester, whatever it is. He's a sex offender and this and that and the other thing. Once again, the hypocrisy behind it. They never want to, even Gruden. If we go back to Gruden, this was 10 years ago. This doesn't matter. This was 10 years ago. This was that. Why are we bringing up everybody's past? Why are we bringing up everybody's past? And then when you do that, they're like, look at this guy's past.
But I'm not playing Fox News on it.
We should say thank you.
But I'm not playing Fox News on it.
I'm not saying that it's a little bit. You're saying that I'm bringing outside shit in. They're bringing outside shit in.
Okay, they are. I'm not. I'm just telling you.
Well, you just told me I was bringing outside shit in.
Yeah, but I wasn't. I wasn't playing Fox News and was saying, well, those people deserve to die because of their background. I wasn't.
All right.
I wasn't at all. I'm just
saying the narrative that's coming out of there is a lot of bullshit and the same kind of arguments that they're trying to pump out from MSNBC. Like if I get behind the wheel of a car pissed drunk, so I'm in a place I shouldn't be, I guess illegally, go ahead, give me that one. But some crazy wild meth head just jumps out in front of my car and he's got an axe and I'm driving and I don't see him and I just nail him. Totally destroy him. But I've had first aid training. And I get out and I'm like, oh my God, he's bleeding. I call 911 immediately. I'm being a responsible citizen. I try to administer CPR and first aid. And it's not really working. And then it all happens. And then they come to the scene and I'm like, here with that. And they're like, oh, dude, he's a meth head and he's a convicted sex offender. You're fine. Go home. You're fine. That's never going to happen. I love your face right now.
I just feel so.
It's totally fine to kill somebody.
I just feel so sorry for you that you're just so wrapped into the other minutia that whether you agree with it or not doesn't matter with the case. All you have to look at is this: what did he have the right to? Should he be charged with any of the deaths? No. You're allowed to cross state lines. That's not a crime.
No.
And in Wisconsin, because every state's different, he's allowed to possess an open carry gun. So yeah, he should not have been charged. But for the media,
ain't gonna save him from the court of public opinion.
Well, that's fine, but the court should not.
He's gonna have to move. And
okay, well, I mean, listen, I'm not saying, look, I wouldn't go there if I was his, but that's what he decided to do. So there's still consequences that he'll have to pay. He's always going to be damaged. He's always going to have to look over his shoulder. Yeah. You know?
I don't know about damaged. He wanted to sit there when they told him to recount the thing and let's hashtag Rittenhouse face. Do your best Rittenhouse face.
Okay. Listen, we don't know. He might have PTSD.
I got this close to the TV. I didn't see any tears, bro. The tears came out when they said he was not guilty. That's when the tears came out.
Point blank. That's fine.
He should have taken that hot chip challenge before he did that. I know they wanted to play on that because they got some ladies on the stand.
Listen, it's still a game. It's still a game that the prosecutor, the defense attorneys have to play as well.
And don't get me wrong, the prosecutor was an absolute jackass.
He was.
I don't understand his question at all.
Both of them.
His line of questioning, talking about video games and stuff. I'm like, dude, stick to the point.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Prosecution
and then when he
did not help.
tries to hold the rifle, I'm not even a gun guy, and I know what the.
I'm just saying.
No trigger discipline, and he's got it all cocked up right here. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
I'm just saying that I'm glad he did not get charged. Because listen, if he deserved to get charged, you'd be the first. I'd be like, yeah, he does. But
I still say he deserves to get his ass fucking beat.
Okay, but does he deserve to be arrested? No. You can't. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean, oh, well, we got to throw him in jail.
He's not remorseful for any of it, though. And that was what he was trying to play up to.
But that's something he's going to have to live with.
He's a slippery little shit. I guess that is.
Because that's something he's going to have to live with. All it comes down to is, did he deserve to go to the prison for killing those people? And as far, like I said, we even have video evidence. No. So for there to be protesters that the justice system's unfair, in this specific case, it was not. Now, as a whole, we have a lot of fucking problems. And I'll be the first one to tell you that.
But you don't think this is going to create more if things start to happen? That people are just going to start walking around the streets with guns, if there's enough of them, even if it isn't an open carry state? It's going to just, this shit has tentacles. And I'm worried that it's going to branch out, like how you were saying about, like, maybe we might be on the verge of a civil war kind of thing, and then January 6th happened. But also, by the way, you want to talk about angry mob mentality.
I tell you what. I tell you. Look, I'm going to tell you this right now. This would have never happened if it's a politician for Wisconsin or the damn police did their job. Wouldn't have this issue. You wouldn't have people taking the gun with their own hands, defending their property because the police were not doing that. Because the governor of Wisconsin told them to stand多to let the rioting happen.
Yeah, so vote to not give.
So it's a bigger problem whether you
ain't gonna do your job because they say so. Well, guess what?
And that should be the problem.
Need a little bit less,
right? And that's the problem, and that's what we need.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I just think all that other, why he was there and all that. That's just all bullshit. That doesn't matter.
That's immaterial.
It doesn't matter.
Created the situation.
That's fine. But what it boils down to is I just want solid facts. I'm not going to sit there and try to get his motives or anything like that. As long as he wasn't there.
Motive means something because watch it happen again. Watch him pop up somewhere.
Watch
him become an advocate for all kinds of. He'll be the James Hogg of.
But I tell you this: he's going to get paid, though. He's going to get paid.
Yeah, he's going to use that to further perpetuate it.
But not only that, but because you have people like Joe Biden and other media sources that are falsely saying, he's a white supremacist and all this other.
I'm not saying he's a white supremacist.
No, that's how I say he's going to get money.
Was it
saying
AJ Coffee?
Who?
You haven't heard that story?
Who's AJ Coffee?
Actually, I have it.
What kind of name is AJ Coffee? Is that his last name? Coffee.
Coffee's his last name.
Who the hell's AJ Coffee?
A Gifford man who claimed he was defending himself and his girlfriend when he fired shots at deputies during an early morning raid in 2017 was acquitted Friday of charges that carried a life sentence term. Jury found Andrew A.J. Coffey IV, who's 27, not guilty of second-degree felony murder, 3 counts of attempted first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer by discharging a firearm, and 1 count of shooting or throwing a deadly missile. I don't even know what that means, if he tossed a shoe or a rock. The maximum prison term of 30 years at his sentencing. So I guess not life. Now I'm really confused. But mind you, he got off basically on a stand your ground kind of charge because his girlfriend died during the raid. She was struck by 10 bullets fired by SWAT team members, including a shot that entered her chest.
And
he is a black man. So I'm not saying that this is a white supremacist issue.
No, I'm just telling you why he's
what
getting
happened
paid.
in Charleston, and the whole pitchforks and
I'm just
and
telling
the
you why
torches,
he's getting
that
paid.
was
That's
white
all.
supremacy.
Right.
Which was absolutely disgusting to see in this day and age on TV. You wonder if it's going to start coming through your living room when you see it like that. But it is a really sticky situation when it comes to everybody getting involved in it and the emotion, and even us. The emotion's running high.
I think
we care what we care about, and some things hit closer to home than others.
I think that obviously our justice system needs work. Nothing's perfect, but at least just for this case, I don't think he should be, should have been charged. So regardless of why he was there or not, I don't, I wouldn't go. I know you don't agree with it,
Yeah.
but
I mean, that apparent.
But listen, don't get yourself in bad situations in the first place, and then you wouldn't even have this issue.
What did I just talk about?
Right,
I love you, man. Even though I think you can be a bit hard-headed and a little too overly rational without taking into consideration that we're social creatures and the emotions that are involved in the human capacity for variety. I love you.
I love you
I
too.
do. Like a brother.
I love you too.
And, I'm not going to we disagree on plenty.
Yes.
And I feel like the country could kind of maybe take a lesson from us.
Oh, absolutely.
In the sense that it's kind of like a Yankees fan and a Red Sox fan sitting next to each other at a game. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why are the two of you okay? And I feel like it's because no matter what, we can still see past the mask of opinion and emotion to the real person behind it.
Amen.
And I love you.
Love you too, brother.
And I'll never let that come between. And you shouldn't either. You shouldn't either. Bring it up at Thanksgiving. Let it eat. If you don't want to and you're scared, well, you might be Kyle Rittenhouse. Hashtag Rittenhouse face.
All right. Well, you guys have a good night. Stay safe.